Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to season 4, episode 37 of the Juco Editz podcast. Tonight I'm joined by Chicago Cubs minor league first baseman Cameron Sisneros. Cam, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to come on here and let's talk some baseball.
Let's do it.
All right, so first off, Cam, I want you to talk to me about playing at Heritage High School.
It's just a smaller school, in Colorado, my hometown school, public school. Um, my freshman year, actually, I made the freshman team, and I was really not that thrilled about it. But it didn't really bother me, whatever. And then a couple days later, they moved me up to the sophomore team. Then I played the season through that my freshman year. And then it was kind of cool to see. We got a new coach my sophomore year, and he was a really good coach. He was tough on us, but he taught us a lot of really good things. And basically, then my sophomore year, I went and then I played varsity my sophomore year, and then obviously again my junior year. And then obviously I'm a 2020 graduate,
Yeah.
so my senior season of baseball got can- canned because of COVID after like 2 games.
Yep.
And it hurt too because like we had a super tight core. We only had like 12 players on our team, but like we all meshed really well and we were pretty solid. I mean, we didn't have any huge commits. We were a lot of JUCO guys. We had like an Air Force and like a Citadel, some smaller D1s, and then but we had fun together. We really enjoyed it, and then like we played 2 games, beat on 2 teams pretty badly. I mean, we were like the number one ranked team in the state going into the year, so like that also sucked having that ripped away from you. Um, and so we played our 2 games, and then that was that. And then luckily, I committed to Lamar like what was that? I think it was like my junior year of summer, like going into my senior year. I committed there because I wasn't very highly recruited out of high school.
Gotcha.
They were like my only offer. I was like talking to a couple. I knew I was going to go JUCO, especially just be from Colorado. I know it's kind of grown now, but it's not. It wasn't like I guess baseball. It's not like you're like a pipeline like Texas or California or whatever. So went JUCO. Um, well, yeah, that's kind of like the basics of the high school. But I would say I learned a lot, honestly. I had some really good coaches in high school, and I know a lot of the times a lot of players don't have that luxury of having like college caliber coaches at that level. So I was very fortunate that with that aspect of it.
So, like you said, you go to Lamar Community College. You play 2 seasons, had a 425 batting average in 2 seasons, pitched 8 games as a freshman, went 3-3 with 12.2 innings, and had a 3.55 ERA in 2021. So, um, during your time there, your second season, I want to talk to you about playing these teams, and I want you to see if you can tell me what you remember about playing them, okay?
Okay, sounds
The
good.
first one, Garden City Community College.
It's funny you mentioned them. I had one of my best friends from high school. He was our catcher. He went to Garden City. So I just remember playing them. They were always a scrappier team in like the Jayhawk conference. It was always super windy and cold at their park.
Yeah.
It was always blowing out though, so if you put it in the air, there's a chance that the thing was flying. Um, I remember them having some decent arms, a couple of thumpers in the middle of the lineup, but nothing like. I know they used to be a little bit better. I think they were having a couple down years while I was there, but I remember them being solid. I know they beat us probably a couple times.
Colby.
I actually, a pitcher from my high school team went to Colby. It's kind of funny. A lot of us went to JUCOs around that area. So he went there. I remember facing him actually. We faced each other, which was funny. Um, and then they were a bunch of Canadian kids.
Yeah.
I think like they had 17 kids on their roster were from Canada or something crazy like that. And they absolutely mashed the ball. I mean, like from top to bottom of their lineup, like they were really well-rounded hitters. I know they had a pretty high pitching prospect. I think he might have gotten drafted. I'm not exactly sure to where or when. But I remember him being a pretty solid arm, and then I know they had a first baseman I used to play against in high school that we didn't get along too well, but he would always, if he got a hold of one, that thing was going 500 feet. So that's what I remember about that team.
Seward County Saints.
I think we played them like one time, like my sophomore year. I remember hitting a home run against them, which was nice. I remember I think I rolled my ankle pretty dang bad that week before that series.
Mm.
So I remember playing on like a bum ankle for that series. But I don't remember too much about the team in general, to be honest with you.
McCook.
Yeah, they were a conference team, so we played them a good amount. I feel like I held my own against them for the most part. You know, JUCO's it's a game where like it's you gotta the skill gap can be very drastic sometimes,
Right.
and so like sometimes you're facing guys whatnot. So I remember like facing like I remember like some of their starters were really good. And then I think like towards the back half of their like rotation, you could kind of take advantage of some of the pitchers. Um, but they had a couple kids that could hit the shit out of the ball too. I know they had a big ass dude that was always like the top guy in the conference for home runs. So I remember him. He was a really nice dude, little goofy dude. He was awesome. He was a good dude.
Frank Phillips.
Oof, we played them on like some like road trips, or not road trips. Well, yeah, I guess road trips on like some midweeks.
Yeah.
And I remember like our JUCO did this thing where like you had like an infield outfield bucket, and like the balls would be numbered, so like 1 to 60, and you lose a ball, there's like a punishment for each ball you lose. So
Mm.
like behind the fence, like during BP was like a junkyard with barbed wire, so you couldn't get in there. And so we had like a bunch of home run balls in there, and we needed to get them, or we're going to be running for weeks. So we had some kids like hop the barbed wire. I remember them being pretty good. They had some kids that hit like 20 plus home runs. I swear they used juice bats. They always sounded funky when we played them. And I always remember it being cold and windy there too. I think it's like right on the border of Texas too, a couple hours away from Lamar.
Trinidad State.
Yep, we had our fair share of games against them too. It's where my grandpa's from actually, so
Okay.
it's kind of a cool tie. Um, they got it's kind of a weird town. They kind of got a cool little field set up. It's kind of like a super old stadium, with a nice little playing surface. It's not too. I'd say it's pretty nice for a JUCO field. Uh, they had a lot of Latin guys I remember, that were like super raw. Um, they had two really good arms. I think they probably had the two top arms in the conference my sophomore year. So I remember them being pretty good. I think they went to like New Mexico or something. Like I definitely went D1. I think one's with the Angels now potentially. So
Okay.
I remember them having some good arms, and then just some scrappy hitters. I know they had to do that had a crazy year too. I think he was an All-American. Um, and yeah, I remember their coach being a tough coach. Yeah, so they were always fun to play. I think we always did super well against them too, especially even my sophomore year. They were still like one of the top teams in the conference, but we still managed to we always did well against them for some reason. I think.
Southeast Community.
Oh man, that's like the team in the conference that not too many teams really like that much. They probably have the worst field in America.
Mm.
It's literally not. It's not nice. But they're good at baseball. I'll give it to them. My freshman year and sophomore year, they had some dudes that had some outrageous numbers, and they always had really good arms. And I would say they had the most depth too. Like all of their bullpen arms were pretty good. All of their starters were pretty good, and like they had a lot of kids off the bench that could play. Like they had a lot of depth. Their two coaches were brothers, and they were definitely vocal and animated for sure.
What was your recruitment like out of JUCO?
Honestly, my JUCO was weird. Um, They do this thing. Well, they do it. My coach likes it better when you stay for 2 full seasons rather than just coming for one and then leaving.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew that I was going to be there for 2 years. So my first year, I didn't really get recruited that much because they didn't really put it out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then um, my sophomore year, they just kind of like make like a little portal like page for you on Twitter, post some videos. I got my first offer from like Indiana State. Well, like going into like my sophomore year, like all my coaches told me, "Oh, you're going Power Five and all this stuff," and obviously that didn't happen, which is fine. And so I kind of like was hesitant to say yes or no. So I got offered by Indiana State like early, like in the fall, like before the season had even started. So I was like, "Oh, dang, this is like super early to say yes or no," especially if I've been like told I'm going to go to like a Power Five or whatever. So then, and then like 2 weeks later, they ended up like calling me saying that their first baseman got hurt and like took a med red. So like the offer was gone basically. So that
Mm.
I guess wouldn't have worked out either way. And so then after that, I just had a bunch of like phone calls with like a bunch of like mid-major schools, like schools kind of like ETSU, but nothing like too serious. A couple like NAIAs, but I know I really wanted to just like go to a D1 at that point, especially after JUCO, and just like going through that. And then like, man, I committed to ETSU about as late as you possibly can. It was probably like a month before school started,
Man.
and I hadn't been recruited. I took a visit to my two offers were it was either ETSU or Northern Colorado.
Okay.
Uh,
Yep.
I took a visit there because it's like an hour and a half away from my house, and it was they got a new coach. I mean, he's really good. He's good. I mean, I didn't dislike it, but I don't know. I just didn't want. I don't know. I just decided to go with ETSU. Um, my high school. The reason I got recruited too is like it wasn't even like from It was like my high school. One of my high school coaches was in Lake Point, Georgia, for like a tournament, and the coach from ETSU was there, and they like got talking, I guess, and apparently he asked him if he still needed a first baseman. He said, "Yeah, it's the one position we still need." And, I sent him some like video, and then later that day he sent me an offer, and I kind of just like talked it through. I was pretty hesitant at first because I was like, I've never seen this place. It's halfway across like the country,
Yeah.
and I wasn't. I was like, it's kind of far, but I was just like, I don't really have too much of an option, so I kind of just rode with it, and it honestly ended up being the best choice I ever made. So
We're going to go back and I want you to talk to me. So 2023, you batted 383 with 55 starts. 2024 batted 369 with 56 starts. So we're going to talk about your 2024 season, and I want you to talk to me about playing in these games and in going against these teams. Okay. The first one
okay,
of 2024, Tennessee.
uh, oof. I mean, we got mollywopped. I feel like in my time at ETSU, they actually beat them last year. I feel like in my time at ETSU, when we would play those teams, I don't know what it was. Like we just would not, we would show the world that like we would like make them think that ETSU baseball is not good, which is simply just not the case. We'd always just not play good whatsoever. I couldn't even probably tell you what I did that game, honestly. I just remember us getting kind of destroyed, honestly. But it's a cool atmosphere. Obviously, first base is right next to the student section. Honestly, luckily they weren't heckling me too bad, which
Yeah.
is kind of shocking.
App State.
They're fun. They got a really cool little stadium up in Boone, North Carolina. We played them in midweeks both years. I feel like I remember doing pretty solid against them. They had some good arms. They had a couple good bats in the lineup too. Um, One dude I actually still talk to. He was like the Sun Belt Player of the Year. He's a good player. Ball flies at their place for sure. I remember them. They would always throw lefties against me, and I feel like I always did pretty solid against them. Um, but yeah, they were always fun to play. They were pretty dang good our second year. Our first year they were solid, but not as good as they were the second year.
James Madison.
James Madison was fun. We played them my not myself my senior year. Um, they were fun. They were good. That's a good team. I think they were just like right outside the top 25 for a lot of the year. That is a very good team. They had a lot of good arms. Um, but we held our own. I think the first game, I know one of the games wasn't very pretty, or it might have been the first two, but I know we won on Sunday, which was a pretty good win. Um, yeah, we did well. I know one of the games was ugly, but I think the other two were solid, and I know we won. I know we lost 2-3, but they were a good team.
Virginia Tech.
Yeah, we played them a couple midweeks, I think twice, once a year at their place, and it was always like at the beginning of the year, and it was always freezing cold. And this was kind of just another team we'd always lose to, like four, like we'd keep it close for like the first couple innings, and then they would just like pull away, and it was just always like 5 degrees, and it was just like start of the year, and yeah, just like no fans at the stand, like in the stands. It was just always kind of like a weird vibe that I got playing at that field, and I don't think I ever did really anything too special. That's probably why I don't remember that too well.
Okay, now we're going to get into conference.
Okay.
What? Western Carolina.
Yeah, they got a cool their town Callaway or something like that.
Yeah.
They every time I ever was told, all my teammates are like, just wait till we go to Western Carolina. It's a launching pad. It's 310-foot fences, and of course, the one weekend of the year that we play there, the wind for the first time ever is blowing in, and so I got robbed of a home run to end one of the games, like full on, like Sports Center top 10, reach over the fence and bring it back, robbed. And then I had like four flyouts to the warning track, and I just remember being like annoyed and just frustrated that series. But I still think I was able to strap together some hits. Our sophomore year, they were a lot better than they were their first year, I think. I know we beat them both series, both years, though. Um, yeah, they had some decent arms. Nothing too insane, I would say.
You remember their third baseman?
Um, no.
So their starting third baseman is one of my good friends when we went to Juco together. His name is
Oh,
Mason Holton. Yep.
okay. If I saw him, I'm not great with names. If I like saw him play, I would probably recognize him.
Gotcha. Yeah, he's a blonde.
Okay.
Yep. He wore number 4.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Next is gonna be UNC Greensboro.
They were always my first year. No, second year they were the number one team in the going into the conference tournament.
Yep.
They were pretty good. They always had they had depth, a lot of pitching depth. Um, One of their starters, Rob Reddy, he was a cool dude. I'd still talk to him every once in a great while. Not for a long time, honestly, but uh, he was a good arm. I'm not sure what he's up to now, but they were just like consistent. Uh, Cozart was like he was like it was kind of like me and him like kind of head for head for the player of the year, the kind of the whole season. Um, he was a good dude, and I played his brother. Actually, he's with one of the teams we played out in South Bend. I think the Cardinals maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, but my first year there, I think we played them in the series before the conference tournament or whatever. And it was either like we were either going to be the third seed or like the fifth seed or something. And that was like a pretty big deal for like seeding or whatnot. Because you got to like play like a playing game or not play a playing game, so that like saves you one game of pitching right there. And so I remember hitting like 2 home runs in the last game to kind of like help us win it, and it was one of the more electric moments that year for sure.
Purdue.
That was a cool series. That was a Power Five series, and we won 2 out of 3, which was awesome. We mollywopped them twice. It's kind of weird. We mollywopped in the first game, and then they mollywopped us, and then we destroyed them the last game. got out of there on 7 innings on the Sunday game so we can go on our 9-hour bus ride back. I remember going yard there. I got a hold of that one pretty good. I don't remember too much, honestly. They had a good little crafty lefty.
South Carolina.
We played them. I played them one time. My parents were actually there too, which was cool, and I'm pretty sure my grandparents as well, maybe. Um, Awesome stadium. Probably one of the toppers, one of the better stadiums in college baseball. We hopped out to an early lead, and then I think it was kind of downhill from there. uh, but it was a cool environment to play in. I don't. That's another one I don't have too many memories about just because I don't think anything. I don't think I did anything crazy, nor did the team do anything crazy either. But it was definitely a cool place to play at, just to say you played there and whatnot.
Miami, Ohio, yeah.
Uh, that was kind of like another just like last series before the conference, kind of like a non-conference like polish up before the tournament. Um, Again, a super cool campus, really pretty, a lot of red brick buildings and whatnot.
Talk to me about getting drafted by the Cubs.
Um, it probably was like the greatest feeling of my life, honestly. Obviously, probably. I mean, I don't know what else would top it, really. Um, it's just kind of like a lot of emotions, honestly, because it's like I was there with my family and then like all my friends, which is like supported me forever. And it's just like it's all like everything you've worked for, like, your entire damn life.
Right.
So it's just kind of like it all like not being like worth it because like even if it's, like you don't get drafted, doesn't mean it's not all still worth it. Um, because it's more than like that. It's just like it was rewarding for sure. Like definitely like super like a definitely a proud moment. But yeah, it was a great experience, and I was just able to have a little party with my friends and family, and we celebrated a little bit, so it was fun.
So 2025, you're currently in high A with the South Bend Cubs. So 2025, you had 280 at bats, batted 275, 7 home runs, 49 RBIs in a .803 OPS. What are the lessons that you learned and your expectations going into 2026?
I learned a lot of good lessons, honestly. They really, there's nothing, you can't really compare yourself for a pro ball season until you kind of go through it once,
Yeah,
and then kind of know what to expect. I mean, our coaches tell us all the time that no one really knows what you kind of are going through, and other than like the people like going through it with you, kind of. Um, I learned that like I've never really been that great with like failure, obviously, because like you always want to be as perfect as you can. But unfortunately, like with baseball, that's not how this game works at all. And so really just not letting like because towards the beginning of the year, I started out really well or started out bad and then kind of caught fire and like held that pretty good. And towards like the last month and a half of the season, kind of dealt with some injuries, not blaming it on that at all. And then kind of just struggled and was just in a horrible headspace and just not letting that happen again and just being able to just flush stuff earlier. Because like the elite ones at this level, a lot of pretty much everyone can hit and throw a ball. But like when you kind of can separate yourself is just being like able to like to adapt and overcome like certain circumstances and just not letting the small things carry over. So I would say just like those are the main lessons that I learned this year.
okay. And then expectations going into 2026.
Um, I'm at the point where honestly I don't want to have too many expectations. Obviously I want to go out there and do my best. I'm happy to be here right now. This gives me like 3 solid months of good training before the season starts. So I feel like this year I'll be in the best shape and the healthiest I'll probably be in order to have the best season possible. Hopefully I'm not going to jump to any conclusions. I have no idea what's going to happen. hopefully I can at least go to high A still, and just just try to play good there and just try
Yeah.
to keep working my way up the totem pole or the keep working my way up the ladder, whatever you want to call it.
Welcome to Juco, welcome to D1, and welcome to the Miners story.
Welcome to JUCO. Huh. I honestly, not trying to be cocky or anything. I don't know if I had one at JUCO.
Okay.
To be honest with you, maybe like early. Yeah, I don't know about JUCO, but at D1, I definitely had one. I've first like time doing like live ABs after not hitting for a little while, so maybe a little rusty, but I faced like one of our top arms. I was like one of our top arms there forever, or not forever, but like when I was there.
Yeah.
Um, and I think he probably struck me out on like 3 pitches, and I was just like, oh gosh, here we go. And then kind of like struggled after that for kind of like maybe got a little domed up and like thought it would be too much, and then maybe got like a little domed up for a little bit, and then honestly, like my junior year, I like started out pretty hot, and then I kind of like we played Clemson, and I remember just like popping up like 100 feet, like a mile high, and like just missing like a couple balls I should have hit like so far. And then kind of after that, just like kind of like spiraled down and just wasn't doing too hot, and then was able to jump out of it. I mean, Pro Ball, I could name 100 welcome to Pro Ball moments. um, I think probably like I mean, welcome to Pro Ball. Basically, I mean, I think right when I got drafted, we played some games in the ACL, which is in Arizona.
Yeah.
And there's like some rehabbers go in and out of that. So you play some dudes. And I think it was like some rehabber AAA dude for the um, Giants, and he was a big lefty. Um, I'm not uncomfortable against lefties, but obviously as a lefty, you prefer a righty. I mean, who
Yeah.
doesn't? Um, and it was just a big lefty, kind of like the one thing I've always like kind of been uncomfortable with is like kind of like that crossfire angle, like across your body, like motion
Yeah.
thing. That like angle that's kind of hard to like describe, but like that angle. Um, and he was throwing 101, which also didn't help either. So I just remember I saw one pitch and it was a fastball right down the middle, and I think I blinked. I don't even think I saw it. And luckily, our dude at first base stole and got thrown out by like 10 feet, or like got thrown out by like a couple feet. And then and then the inning was over, luckily, so I didn't have to face him again. But then just like multiple times in just like spring training facing big leaguers, and it's just like, okay, like you're fresh off of not seeing any live facing, and then you're seeing these dudes, and it's just like, good luck. So I would say all of those moments, honestly.
All right. Next is going to be, what is your favorite JUCO stories?
Oh man, honestly, I absolutely like adored my time there. I made like I made some great friends there. I mean, when you're in Lamar, Colorado, you don't really have anything to do other than kind of just play baseball and
Yeah.
hang out with each other at like your dorm room. Which was awesome. Like at the dorms, like it was the base. They have like basically, if you went to Lamar, you were kind of there for a sport, or like maybe you lived in town. Because I'm talking like I think 6,000 population town with one main road.
Dang.
So it's about as small as it gets. And then the college just sits at the end of the town with there's like 3 restaurants maybe. And so like you don't really have much. The calf food was horrible. So you kind
Yeah.
of just like got to get gritty. So honestly, just like, and then just like the punishment, and just honestly, just like all of it, just like going. Best way I can describe, like some JUCOs are different, but a lot of the time it's kind of like a lot of running, a lot of discipline stuff. It's almost kind of like baseball boot camp in a way. So just like going through like hell together, honestly, was probably the best part. But it was also like so much fun, and like, yeah, it was awesome.
Toughest pitching staff that you faced in JUCO, D1, and the minors.
In JUCO, probably, I mean, in conference Southeast. I think out of conference we played like Weatherford maybe my
Okay.
junior year, and they had like a bunch of D1 big like bounce backs from like LSU and like A&M that were pretty good, and like
Mm.
freshmen in college, you're like, oh dang, this dude's gonna be legit. So it's probably some of those guys. Um, D1. Let's see here. I know it's just midweeks, but Virginia Tech always threw like super funky lefties. They weren't like anything crazy, but they're just super like funky and like that crossfire thing I was talking about.
Yeah.
And then Samford had a couple decent arms. Oh gosh. I mean, Oklahoma State had good arms, but I kind of did well against them, so I can't really say them. Yeah, I'll just leave it at probably like Samford, probably,
Okay.
or maybe UNCG.
All right. The next one is going to be, what sport would you have played in JUCO if not baseball?
Uh, probably. I mean, I'd probably just have to say football. My dad played football in college, and I played in middle school and whatnot, and then a little bit in high school. It's probably that. Probably too slow to play anything else.
What is something that you struggled with this season that you want to improve on?
Probably just like I've always been good at like not chasing, but like I need to be able to like when I've always been able to like make a lot of contact too. More just like making solid contact and not getting like get the ball in the air basically. And just the way the game's played these days, I need more home runs. Uh so yeah, I would just say try to hit for a little bit more pop. Um and just do a little bit more damage. I know my OPS was high, but I think does more because my slugging was low. So probably like increase the slugging, I'd have to say.
What are some things to expect on the Division One level?
I mean that's the top college competition in the country. So I mean every team I don't I mean the SoCon like a lot of people don't really know what it is, but it's one of the top conferences like other than the Power Fours or whatever in the country. So I mean, whether you go to like Power Fives, or a Group Five, whatever you want to call them, mid majors, like you're gonna run into really good competition, especially if you start getting in those Power Four conferences like the SEC and whatnot. I mean, you're gonna be seeing draft picks out the ass every day. And then even at the lower levels, I mean, at the smaller schools, you're still gonna see crazy good teams like ETSU is really good. A bunch of teams in that conference are really good. I mean, there's a bunch of good Sun Belt teams. Like it's super competitive, honestly. And like if you're not willing to like it's a lot of hours too, and you got to be able to manage your schoolwork on top of the baseball stuff too.
What's the biggest thing you noticed transitioning from JUCO D1 to the minors?
I'd say JUCO is just like there's no restrictions on how much you can practice, so basically just hours on end of practicing. And then going to D1, a lot more restrictions, so just like less hours with the team. I would say just like I mean at my JUCO we didn't even have an athletic trainer, so like just the facilities are completely different. I mean I went to a small D1 and the facilities were even like way better. Like I had a trainer, I like we had a strength guy, just like stuff like that. Just increases over time, and then obviously once you get into pro ball, it's you can't really compare it to anything else, obviously. But yeah, I would just say, did I already answer the question? I lost track. Was the question
Yeah, it
what to
was.
expect at the D1 level? No, that was the. I'm sorry, I lost
No, no,
track.
no, you're good, you're good. It was. We'll talk about the transition from
Okay,
JUCO to D1 to the minors.
yeah, and then D1 to pro ball is just it's a jump. I mean, You see people playing the SEC. See people playing the ACC. You see people play at whatever school. I don't care if you're a number one overall pick. Like no one really has that much success at first, unless you're like a hidden like a gem or something. I don't really know. Um, so that jump's obviously the biggest. Obviously, I mean it's a different game. It turns into kind of like a business, and if you're not going to perform, like obviously they give you a couple years because they want you to like see like progress and whatnot. But I mean the jumps, everyone's the best player from their college team, so it's just kind of like the competition's just kind of I mean it's pro ball, so everyone knows what that kind of competition's like.
What are some of your favorite things about JUCO?
Honestly, just like I honestly enjoyed the fact like being in the middle of nowhere, kind of like just going through the grind. Um, and then I obviously played really well, so that was obviously fun. I mean, it's obviously easy to have fun when you're playing well. So that was always, and then obviously just met some super good people both years.
What do you do when you're in a slump?
Oh, cry. I mean, just oof. That's a tough one because you try not to get there, and then when you're there, it's just like, how do I get out of this? And it's basically just like, I mean, the more you think about it and talk about it, the worse it's probably gonna get. So like, just don't even like let yourself think you're in a slump. Honestly, just kind of just gotta play mind tricks, and you just gotta always be optimistic and just know that there's big leaguers that go for 50 at times. So you just gotta trust the process, and soon eventually. Because a lot of times when players go into slumps, they're making good swings, but it's right at someone. So you just got to go off that, and you can't always look. You can't always be process. You can't always be like result oriented. You got to be like process oriented, especially in baseball, because you can do all the things right and still get out. So if you're just looking at the results, you're just gonna mind destroy yourself.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about next is some of the biggest things in college athletics, okay? The first one, what's your thoughts on NIL?
I mean, honestly, at first, I think I was just a little bit jealous because I kind of like missed that window. And I'm not saying I would have gotten a bunch of NIL money either way, especially like just going to JUCO out of high school and you're kind of like set back a little bit or whatever. I think there kind of should be maybe like a cap to it. I mean, it kind of makes me sick to think that these dudes are getting paid more than professional athletes. I don't really think that's very right. Um, but I know that baseball's a little different with how they do. It's not like you get drafted and go straight to the NFL. You know what I'm saying? So I think that I honestly like. I feel like for football, maybe it's made it a little bit more competitive. Honestly, though, because like I feel like back in the day, it was the same two, three teams every year, and I feel like now there's been a lot of shift in who's good and who's not as good.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it could help with competition, but overall, I think there might need to start being a little bit of limitations to it. There's no reason LSU should be able to spend 40 million on their roster. Like it's just crazy to me. But who am I to say? So
Thoughts on players having advisors and agents?
I mean, now with all the NIL and all the money they're making, it makes sense. I mean, technically, like when you're in college, I think I had at ETSU my last year. I had one. It was like it's technically like your advisor until you get drafted or graduate, and then they officially become like your agent. I think that's fine, honestly. If you need or want some help with making decisions that's right for your future, I mean, I don't see a problem with that at all.
Transfer portal.
I think, I mean, I was always big with like loyalty,
Yeah.
because after my junior year at ETSU, I easily could have hit the transfer portal, um, and boosted my stock for the draft or whatever, and then like gone somewhere big and whatnot. But I just like they gave me an opportunity when no one really else did, and like I'm not just gonna get out of there just because I think I could go do something better than when my situation's already perfect. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
just think people kind of use it as like a bailout option. Oh, like it kind of turns people into becoming kind of like soft almost and like not wanting to like get through the hard times and like, oh, I don't like what he said to me or I don't like this situation, so I'm just gonna leave. And then like I don't think it's the word like in some cases if like you're not gonna play, then that's completely different. I completely understand that. But like I think maybe once you get in it once, then you shouldn't be able to get in it again. I don't know. I just think these kids that hop around from school to school to school, it just kind of like shows that
Yeah.
one, they're not really committed to anyone but themselves, and like two, it's just like what's the reason with like why can't you know what I'm saying like why are they keep moving like is not
Right.
yeah. I think it can cause a lot of I think it looks better on a resume if you stay at the same school in my opinion, but
I agree.
that's just me.
Next, extra year eligibility rule.
I don't know, it's kind of weird seeing like all these kids get like I mean Carson Beck just played his seventh season of college football.
Right.
I understand. I think he was hurt some of it, but I don't think I don't think that's needed. I mean, I think you need to give opportunities to younger kids, and I think that takes away a lot of like playing time and spots for like freshmen on teams and stuff.
Thoughts on how baseball is changing analytically?
I think it's just more like power numbers. Obviously, for the Cubs personally, I know they really value like contact and like power, and then like I think base stealing has become like a big thing too. Like stealing a lot of bases become really valuable. And then I would just say like yeah, like OPS obviously is super important. But honestly, like I'm not very big with. I don't get super detailed with numbers. Like I couldn't even really tell you what like how you even calculate slugging percentage or what even. All I really know is that means you hit the ball far when you hit it. You know,
Yeah.
so I don't really look too much into the numbers. I'm more of just like a. If I'm hitting above like three, like I was always just a big batting average guy. Like if my batting average is good, that means I'm doing something right. I try not to look at the numbers too much because then I just kind of get a little rattled. So.
Thoughts on the pitch clock?
Love it. Best thing ever created. I mean, it I there's nothing more annoying than a pitcher with tempo that's like making you want to fall asleep. And like as like a hitter, like I never get out of the box anyways, so like my foot's always in there, so it doesn't bother me at all. I and it keeps the game in a pace. Like I like whether you like it or not, this is like our job now. So like
Yeah.
I love baseball, don't get me wrong, but like when I play 140 games a year, I would rather the game be 2 hours and 30 minutes than 4 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it's great, and I think it keeps the fans more engaged, and it's just like it's just less bullshit, you know.
Yeah. Out of your career, what season means the most to you and what coach means the most to you?
Oof, I mean, the season that means the most to me is my senior year at ETSU because I mean, I had a I mean, there's no pressure really unless you create it, but I mean, I didn't want a job. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do. I didn't know what I'd do if it wasn't for baseball. So just like being able to have that kind of season with like that stuff like kind of on the line was kind of cool to see. Just like being able to do that and put myself in that kind of position to not secure, but pretty much secure yourself in the draft, which was pretty cool. So I'd say that meant the most. I mean, a coach, that's pretty. I mean, I would have to say a couple. I mean, my hitting coach at ETSU, I mean, Chad Marshall, he was awesome. I mean, I owe a lot of my success to him and like the approach aspect and him really teaching me what that is. And then one of my coaches from high school, Coach JJ, I mean, he's the reason I got to ETSU, like I talked about earlier. And he was my basketball coach freshman year too, so I've known him forever and just kept in good contact. So I'd say those two.
Okay. What is your walk-up song?
So I had I'm I'm not really that big into that. So I like my freshman year at Lamar, I let couple of my buddies pick my walk up song for me. And so they did God's Gonna Cut You Down by Johnny Cash.
Okay.
And so I've had the same walk up song since my freshman year of high school, since my freshman year of college. So
Nice.
it's been that for every year. And I think I'm gonna make a change this year and do something a little different.
Gotcha.
Something a little more upbeat or something.
Okay, so I have three last ones for you, Cam. The
Cool.
next one is I want you to talk to me about your favorite things to do in the Cubs organization or something that you love most about the Cubs organization.
Um, Honestly, like the staff is awesome. They're all like extremely friendly. Like the hitting dudes are awesome. They make everything like they don't make it boring. Like they make it fun. Everything has a purpose. Um, a lot of games, like a lot of competition, like whether we're stretching, like we're even playing like competitions when we're stretching and stuff and doing like mobility. And even in the weight room, and they keep it fun and like honestly, like the dudes are awesome. Like you would think, sometimes like pro ball dudes might have like big heads and think they're the shit or whatnot, but honestly, some of like the nicest dudes I've ever met. So that's awesome. It makes it 10 times more enjoyable when you can kind of just go shoot the shit and talk and whatnot and just have fun and laugh when you're at work or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so I would just say the atmosphere is just it's good. Like I never like not once have ever walked in there like why am I here like this sucks. Like I've always been like it's fun, it's a great environment and yeah, like and it's like we work hard too and like they don't let you slack off. So they hold you accountable too, which I like.
Okay, the last two for you tonight. What advice do you have for JUCO players, D1 players, high school players trying to make it to the next level like you have?
I mean, it just you gotta truly like want it. You can't just like want it for your parents or like want it. You gotta like actually like want it to the point where like you're not obsessed with wanting it, but like there's like nothing really else like I mean, you got to still have a life. Like, you got to still be able to balance it too. Like, you can't let it consume you at the same time. And that can be hard at sometimes, like, not letting your job consume you. But I would just say, like, I mean, baseball, we all know it's the most cliche thing ever is like it's 90% mental, 10% physical or whatever. But it actually is true. Like, if you dwell on the small things and it's a spiral effect and I've seen it firsthand. I've been through it. I could have turned 0 for 20s into 0 for 10s if I could have just like snapped out of it and like just locked in a little bit more instead of just getting frustrated. So I just really say you just got to put your head down and really just like embrace those shitty times because there's going to be a lot of them and it's who can get out of them that succeed in the end.
Okay, then the last one that I have for you tonight, Cam, is what three people do you know in D1 or the minors that went JUCO that you would want to see on my podcast?
Edgar Alvarez went to JUCO. He's one of my teammates here with the Cubs.
Okay.
Um, let's see. Owen Ayers, he's also a catcher with the Cubs.
Okay, perfect.
He just played in the fall league. He just won like the breakout prospect of the year or whatever.
All right. Well, Cam, I really appreciate you for coming on tonight, man, and I really
Yeah, I
look forward
appreciate you.
to your season.
Sounds good, dude. I appreciate you having me. I had fun. It was good
Mo-
talking to you.
Most definitely, man. Have a great night.
Yeah, take it easy, dude.
Thank you.